Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of North Dundas, today being December 17th, 2025. I'm going to call the meeting to order. The meeting is called to order at 4:30 p.m. Adoption of the agenda moved by Councillor Uhrig, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bergeron, that the agenda be adopted as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest and nature thereof? Seeing none. We're going to move right into delegations. We have 3 delegations tonight. Right off the bat, we have Mr. Bill Smurl with an update from South Nation Conservation Authority. Welcome, Mr. Smurl.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Donald, and staff, I'm pleased to bring this update.
if I may, Mr. Smurl, can we make sure that we need to get the microphone closer? I'll be reminding everyone throughout the evening.
How is that? It was on, I think. Is it on now?
Okay, thank you.
Yes?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you very much. I sent you a copy of the invitation I wanted to share quickly, and the first thing I want to look at is the new legislation that's been brought in for conservation authorities across Ontario. And I've summarized it very, very quickly, and some of the concerns with it are that the rules are going to be made the same all over Ontario, that fees will be all the same basically all over, or by the different areas. The timeline for permits in different areas has been different, and the fees for different things have been very different in different areas. So our concern is that it may not be as positive for us as we'd like. And I spoke with the MPP asking him, had you ever considered trying it in one area? And he didn't think that was a good idea. And I suggested that it might be worthwhile to try something new rather than dump it all in immediately. So some of the things that are noted are moving from 36 authorities across the province to 5 by watershed. And ours is called the St. Lawrence watershed, which includes the Ottawa, and there will be 5 authorities in it, and they would be Cataraqui, Mississippi, Rideau, Raisin, and South Nation. And South Nation watershed has 16 municipalities. We would then, in this watershed, move to 46 municipalities. We would move, and we don't know what's going to happen with boards. We don't know what's going to happen with authorities. We don't know for sure what's going to happen with staffs. A lot of it's up in the air. The idea is to bring it in officially. And by the way, the last time to make comments on 22nd of December, although the MPP tells me that it's possible to give feedback all through 26. The idea is to implement it in 26, starting in January, and have it fully implemented and operational in 27. So a lot happening quickly. And I sent a copy of the sort of internal document to give you additional information. And our serious concerns are transparency, local governance, watershed-based management, donor lands, administrative burden, and the unique realities of Eastern Ontario. And summarizing quickly, when the Act was brought in 1946, it was brought in so that whenever a municipality or an area, a watershed, was ready to join, they applied to be a member of the group. And in 1946, the Act came in. In 1947, South Nation was the 5th authority to become institutionalized. And South Nation then developed and came along from then. In the early days, by the way, South Nation had 35 or 37 representatives because there were representatives from each municipality. That was changed in the late 90s to be the 12 representatives now that are there. So our concerns are about very many things. It looks like local representation will be no longer there because with towns and cities like Kingston and Brockville and Ottawa and Cornwall, and if there's a board of 12, there won't be too many representing the rural areas in our area. We don't know what's going to happen with dollars. We don't know if the ministry is going to pay for this new group or ask municipalities, instead of sending their money to South Nation Conservation, to send their money directly to this new group in their area. So there'll be a new authority for this area taking in Eastern Ontario, Ottawa and St. Lawrence areas, and that they will have 5 counties, 5 different watershed areas, and included the different topics on the sheets that I attached. That's an internal working document we had that was brought for the last meeting. And unless there are any questions, I'm ready to move away from that.
Thank you, Mr. Smurl. Questions, comments? Look around. I look to Councillor Urick.
No, I appreciate that update, Bill. It baffles the mind, doesn't it? I mean, I know we have local residents right now who at times are not happy with the operations at times of the Conservation Authority and perhaps, you know, the issues that stem from it. I certainly don't think they're going to be any happier if this gets regionalized and completely taken away from the local. It frankly doesn't make sense. And I think, you know, not to steal the deputy mayor's thunder, but I am happy to see that later in the meeting, we do have some more to do with this and, you know, pass something. So it's astounding. It really is.
Thank you. And you know that it was presented to the United Counties and SDMG, and there was a document completed. I think you've had copies of that, and you're prepared to follow through this municipality, and that's appreciated. All right.
Any other questions, comments? I guess before we get to the next point or next topic, Mr. Smurl, how far west? You mentioned Kingston, but is that as far west as the proposed border will be for us?
It'll be, yes, along the St. Lawrence, it'll make it Cataraqui, Mississippi, Rideau, subdivision and Mason. So yes,
Okay,
Eastern Ontario region.
thank you. No, I think that's all the questions on so far.
Okay, moving on to number 2, we approved the millage, and I hoped to have a meeting in November with you, but I think you were involved with your budget as we were with ours. So in November, in October, the association accepted a mill rate, and they, well, since 80% of the dollars for South Nation come from the city of Ottawa, we usually just use their rates, and their general levy increase was 1.6% increase in growth, 2.9 cost of living, or a 4.5% increase, and that's what we based our budget preparation and information on. And if you look, I didn't give you this sheet, but on the following page that I have, it's saying for 2026, the capital levy will be $6.44 per $100,000. And you know how that sort of thing is figured out, where they take the total value of the watershed, everything, and divide it by the dollars that were spent last year and come up with the 6.4. So the 4.5 in October, the staff was instructed to bring forward a budget for the November meeting with a 4.5%, maximum of 4.5% increase. And furthermore, the budget was presented, few small changes, and accepted by the board at the November meeting. And the following is the procedure. After the November meeting, and I think it was last Friday, it may have been circulated, the budget is circulated to all municipalities, and all municipalities have the opportunity to look at it, review it, make comments, and please get any suggested changes in by early January, and then if we see or hear nothing more, we will approve it as it's here in January for the 26th year. And I brought a copy of the budget to each of you, and I thought it would take a 1-minute overview of it. If you turn to page 5, you'll see how it's set up with the 5, the City of Ottawa, Prescott, Rossville, Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry, and Lee Grenville. And it's set up in this way, and the 4 departments are across the bottom: resource management, approvals, property management, and corporate services. If you flip over to page 6, if you have questions, I know you'll raise your hand. If you have to flip over to page 6, and go down near the bottom on the right-hand side, the total budget would be $10,245,143. And the dollars that are gotten from the municipalities for grants is about half of that. And the rest of the grants are from services that are provided, or the staff is really good at getting donations. They get between $3 and $4 million of donations or grants from different organizations. So that doubles the amount of money that we can spend in our area, thanks to the work the staff is doing. And just for information, and I'm getting grants the way South Nation does, and that's across Ontario. So I wanted you just to note that page, and if you flip over to page 8, this gives you a comparison of the levies on every municipality. If you go down to about number, how far down is it? Number 5, you'll see North Dundas. And what it was last year, 110,671, and what's proposed, and what the difference is in dollars, and the percentage difference. That's a quick way of giving you an overview of it, so you know. And is there any question on that page?
The questions, comments? So I do wonder, like, when I look at the apportionment, any idea yet how that's going to change with the new plan? No. Okay. Thank you.
And that's a worry. The different groupings, and maybe if you flip to page 12 and 13, this is the resource management, and all of the information about what they're doing is on the left-hand side, the purpose is on the left-hand side, and the deliverables are on the right-hand side of page 12, and the dollar breakdown is in the center. And I'm not going to take you through it all, but I just was wanting you to perhaps see a few of these and know how they work. And one of the ones that we look at on page 22 is actively maintain conservation lands. And one of the comments I made very briefly, and one of the comments that we got kind of worried about is we have about 14,000 acres of land that's been donated to South Nation. A few of it's been purchased, and then there's the federal government gave us money to purchase or buy different lands as well for conservation purposes. But a lot of it was donated by individuals. And an example is the Oshman Forest back there. Mr. Oshman and Mrs. Oshman owned that forest as their property. Mrs. Oshman passed away, and Mr. Oshman wanted her remembered because she used to walk by it every day and travel through it. So he wondered if he donated it to us, could we keep it in perpetuity in her memory? And of course, that's our area for the maple syrup demonstration information as well. So we don't know what will happen when somebody else takes over. And so that's one of the concerns we have. I did bring you to page 26. And this is kind of interesting because we also don't know what will happen to dams and what will happen to those areas. Because here it shows you the deliverables for water control structures, dike and burn vegetation management, annual water inspections, the repairs to the weirs and dams in all areas, including Chesterville, and the Chesterville Dam spring and fall operation, and capital projects that are requested. So we don't know how somebody in Kingston or Ottawa will feel about maintaining and keeping and looking after some of these areas that we think are kind of important. And I don't think I'm going to take more time to go through it unless you have, and if you find questions as you read it before bedtime somewhere, please contact me.
So, thank you. Questions, comments, thoughts? Again, I think about the deliverables that, and if I recall correctly, and please correct me, the deliverables such as when the youngsters have an opportunity to go fishing, that has to be supported by everyone in every
We don't know.
every area.
I think so.
But does that not have to be supported by everyone in South Nation Conservation Authority?
Yes.
So that has to be. So this new plan, and I know we don't know what the new plan is, and this is my fears as someone that lives in a village, and is those deliverables that we wish or may not happen. And I look at the partnership between South Nation Conservation Authority and the Rotary Club in Chesterville, and the fountain and the installation and the removal and the docks, how that all works so well with in a community-minded way. Again, I guess those are unknowns. What would happen if someone or a majority of people in a larger urban center doesn't see that as a value? So.
But I might add as well, we believe strongly that tree planting is really important, and that's no longer a level 1 concern with the province. When the act changed in 2022, we categorized many other some authorities provide services like septic, like like that sort of thing to their area. And the services provided by South Nation often save the municipalities pay, by the way, but it often saves them having to buy someone or hire someone to pay out in each of those areas. So there's so much uncertainty, and of course, I'm hardly prejudiced. You can tell that.
Yes, of course. Um, Is that, questions, comments? I'm not seeing any.
And then the next part is just our low water committee met recently, and we decided to keep it at level 3. And there's been a lot of rain and snow, and that seems to have helped. But at the last meeting we had, there was a feeling that it wasn't enough to bring the wells up where we want them at this stage for winter. And I don't know if you heard that today, City of Ottawa is telling people in the city, if they have wells, or in the city area, if they have wells and have rinks for kids, don't use them this year. They're saying there's still a water problem, and we want to be very cognizant of it. And water for our homes, and water for drinking and cooking and using our washrooms, etc., is more important than having skating rink or washing your car, etc.
Those are challenging words. This is North Dundas. We love our hockey and our figure skating and our broom ball and all of that. So,
But yes, you're right. They're talking not about the public rinks and the rinks in the Manchester
Right.
that are open. They're talking about
the,
Joe Will's
the backyard rinks,
in his backyard for his granddaughter.
of course.
The backyard rinks. And number 4, I added this one before, but I'll just say it again. At every meeting, it's about 3 hours, and if you've never attended one, I'd like to invite you to attend it sometime in the future. The meeting always starts with a slide presentation of about 30 minutes, and to my knowledge, no other authorities do this slide presentation and keep their board members as up to date as we are on projects, dollars spent, what's been achieved, what's being gained, where they're going next, and that information is really interesting, I think, and really important for the future of our local improvement, especially at the moment, yeah. So, I put the meeting dates on the second page, and they changed from the third Thursday to the second Thursday, effective in February. So, if you're interested in any of those, please join. And I just added that I got your review committee tonight, just let you know that I do that on the side. And Mr. Chair, if there's no questions, I'll make final comments.
Seeing none?
And I want to wish each of you a happy, Merry Christmas and a very, very enjoyable, safe, and healthy New Year. And I also want to encourage you, if you haven't done a tour of the municipality, do it to see the Christmas decorations and Christmas arrangements that have been made. And have an unofficial poll that says the nicest community is Morrow.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smurl. Thanks for that presentation. So we're going to move on to our next delegation, and it's the Mountain Township Agricultural Society. We have Teresa Palmer and Chloe Preston. Ladies, welcome.
You can please speak into the mic because we're getting some feedback. It's not very clear, so we'll let you know. Thank you.
No problem. Good afternoon, members of council, members of staff, and members of the public, both here tonight and watching from home. My name is Chloe Preston, past president of the Mountain Township Agricultural Society, and I'm joined by Teresa Palmer, our president. We would like to begin by thanking you for the opportunity to delegate for you this afternoon. From what I can find, I believe it's been more than 15 years since MTAS has brought a delegation forward to council, so this is a wonderful opportunity for us to do that. To give you a bit of an overview
This better? Is that better? Okay. Right. The clicker's not working.
The clicker's not working.
Just so, we can just say next slide.
Okay.
Okay. At the high level, our society operates and maintains the fairgrounds and our facilities, works to deliver agricultural education and programming through the annual fair, as well as hosting community events that support rural culture. What we pride ourselves on is providing many opportunities for youth, families, and volunteers to be involved in their community.
Nope, next slide, please. Okay. What most of the public thinks of when they think of MTAS is often the South Mountain Fair, which is our annual event obligated under the Act that spans 4 days over the third weekend in August. What might be interesting for council is to note that next year we are looking to celebrate the 134th year as a consecutive operation. We are the largest event in North Dundas, bringing in 15,000 spectators over 4 days. We offer exclusive family-focused programming that is their only opportunity to interact with the agricultural community through our various shows and exhibits. We also pride ourselves in transparent and affordable pricing for families, which is a pay-one price inclusive entry. This is very unique to South Mountain, where all rides, exhibits, and entertainment are included in your admission. Families and children enjoy unlimited access for the day or weekend, on our most expensive day being $35 to deliver more than 12 hours of unlimited entertainment.
Next slide, please. What council may also not be aware of is that the South Mountain Fair is also the achievement day for the Dundas County 4-Hers. Many 4-H members and farmers across the counties participate in our open shows as well to earn regional points to compete regionally at the Metcalfe and vie for a chance to compete provincially at the Royal in Toronto. Some of these exhibits are months of work for students and showers and is a wonderful opportunity for the public to see livestock shows and learn about how different areas of agriculture exist in our community. We genuinely believe we help to strengthen the future of agriculture in North Dundas. Next slide, please.
We also offer a free Special Friends event that is tailored for individuals with special needs, their caregivers, and their families to enjoy the fair without sometimes overwhelming atmospheres of regular hours of operation. We also believe that this event showcases our society's community to dignity, inclusion, and community support.
Next slide, please. Some interesting information to also consider is that the South Mountain Fair is amongst the largest events in SDG. And last year, we were responsible for generating more than $250,000 of regional tourism. This is a huge economic impact for a 4-day event. Next slide, please.
We noted earlier that our organization is almost entirely run by volunteers who are dedicated to mandate and mission with our community. Annually, we are grateful for almost 300 volunteers who show up and support us every day in various ways. We are also very gracious and grateful for the more than 150 community and corporate partners that help make our vision a reality. These contributions represent tens of thousands of dollars donated, hours, and in-kind contributions.
Next slide, please. What often people don't see with MTAS is the cost associated with our operations to ensure great quality of service and entertainment to happen throughout the year. Our annual operating budget is just under $1 million. This includes the grounds, insurance, compliance, programs, entertainment, and facility operations. More than 70% of that is the annual operation of the South Mountain Fair. Next slide, please.
This brings us to the reason we are here tonight. As council is aware, we made an original request to the township for a $10,000 annual contribution to the society, a representation of 1% of our annual budget. We have been grateful for the $4,500 provided to us annually, but this has not seen an annual increase in more than 7 years when cost operations have skyrocketed. We are equally grateful to hear that council settled on a financial contribution of $6,000 annually, representing a $1,500 increase. We wanted to take an opportunity tonight to explain to you where our financial request came from and potentially pitch an alternative solution that should still give the society a 1% municipal support we are still looking for.
Next slide, please. We are looking to request the balance of our request in an in-kind support from the township through the use of skilled staffers on work time to help us with setup and takedown for our annual event. As council and the community can imagine, volunteerism is at its lowest, with many volunteers aging out and those who wish to volunteer not having the time due to work commitments. We are looking for assistance during our most critical times. This request may seem foreign to North Dundas for non-municipal events, but actually represents common practices for many festivals and events in other municipalities, including the Glengarrys, the Township of Russell, Edwardsburg Cardinal, and North Grenville. This initiative would be a great value to the society and reduce volunteer burnout while also improving our safety and efficiency through the work of your skilled workers. Ultimately, we are looking for the township to be a partner in ensuring the society and the fair's long-term sustainability and further showcase the township's commitment to agricultural and rural organizations. Next slide.
In conclusion, we believe we have shared the interest in the investment of our community. MTAS is a dedicated group that wants to continue to showcase how rural and agricultural heritage is vital to our society. Help us continue to provide these community opportunities and shape overall experiences of people's experiences in North Dundas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that presentation. Questions, comments, thoughts? Councillor Lennox.
Yeah, I think the MTAS is rather important as a cultural thing within our township. I don't really like the name MTAS. Form 527, it's easy change a name. But the only thing that scares me throughout this is skilled staff, and I can't say that's a great idea with Mr. Smurl sitting there right now with regards to setup and tear down and etc. But as far as amending our budget and giving more money, I would totally be open. Again, it's a cultural thing, and down the road, like creating some form of partnership, yeah. I would be in favor.
Thank you for your thoughts. Further comments? Councillor Urig?
That was close. Good save, though. Excuse me. No, I appreciate the update and the presentation and everything like that. And I do think, I think during our budget process, you saw a commitment to MTAS and, noting that an update to the to the township's commitment over multiple years had not changed. I understand that. I think you also need to understand the budget pressures that we as a municipality face. And I think I'll be the contrarian here and say that I don't agree, and I don't necessarily at this moment in time support the use of municipal staff for a volunteer-led and run event and organization. And I just wonder if there is another working arrangement that can be made and if there's more investigation required here. I understand you say that is what is done elsewhere, and I trust that. It's nothing that's been done here. And I do, to Councillor Lennox's point, we've bandied about this idea over other things and have kind of come in line of saying, we don't really want to get into that. And I land in the corner of this just opens it up to every other event to expect the same thing. And I think, frankly, at the end of the day, this is backhanded in a way, but you guys are a victim of your own success, unfortunately, right? Which is a great thing, wonderful thing in North Dundas. It's much appreciated, but I do take issue with the thought of providing staff from the municipal level for an event of this nature.
Thank you for your thoughts. Councillor, other thoughts, comments? As we have gone through our budget process, but I do appreciate investigating and the idea that's been presented. I think, as you see, there's either end of the spectrum on the thought of support in kind, and then there's some thoughts on the revisiting the budget. We do have challenges with that, as Councillor Urig talks about. We have another fair in North Dundas, and that challenge that they do, and I'm sure they face similar challenges on a different scale. So we have to be very cognizant of that. But I do appreciate your understanding about the 10,000, 6,000. And I do appreciate the comment about finding other ways to be supportive, because the Mountain Township Ag Society Fair, I boast about. I am very supportive verbally, if nothing else. I brag about how there's 2 big fairs in SDG. Mountain Township is one, and the Williamstown Fair is the other one. There's other fairs in between, but these are the anchors for fairs and for promoting agriculture in our community. So I feel that there will be further conversation. I know we need to talk to staff if we want to investigate other options. And as you can see, council is not all on the same page about which way to go. So I think that allows for discussion of that end too. So saying that, I just want to say thank you very much for all that you do. I know you put in so much effort. I've been aware of that for years, the effort and the year-round commitment, as it's been said many times. As soon as the fair is over, the next day the planning for the next fair starts. And we're very aware of that. And like so many things in North Dundas, volunteer driven. It's the volunteers that do it right. And and as Councillor Lennox is always talking about, always seeking more volunteers to support other groups. We need to be better at that as a whole, volunteer groups and the community, the township, supporting volunteers and helping recruit volunteers. Saying that, if there's nothing else, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. Just as a final note, we'd like to remind council and staff that we're always looking for volunteers, and it's a great way to engage with your community, especially throughout this summer. I know next year is a big year for everyone, so we're more than happy to take volunteers.
Yes, and to that, Ms. Bresson, that is something that I've talked about internally, is that we need to, at our end, be supporting the promotion of keep in mind, everything that you enjoy in North Dundas is volunteer driven. If you have any desire at all to be a volunteer, get on board. And so we need to promote that at your end and at our end.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next delegation is Naomi's Family Resource Center. We have with us Renee Moores and Lori Monroe. Welcome, ladies.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Deputy Mayor, councillors, staff, and the public that are here with us this evening. My name is Renee Moores, and I'm the Executive Director of Naomi's Family Resource Center. We are a rural emergency women's shelter located here in North Dundas. I'm joined this evening by Lori Monroe, the Vice Chair of our Board of Directors. Thank you for this opportunity to present our formal request for consideration in the Township's 2026 budget. Since 1987, with funding from the Province of Ontario, Ministries of Children, Community and Social Services, and with the generosity and compassion of our community, Naomi's has supported women with or without dependents who are leaving intimate partner violence relationships. We're here this evening to request to the Township of North Dundas a partnership in growing our agency to address a critical and well-documented service gap, the lack of affordable transitional housing, for women leaving emergency shelter, and for vulnerable people in our community. Currently, residents leaving our shelter who are under the age of 55 years old have very few affordable housing options within North Dundas. Since 2022, 82% of our residents have told us that they would remain in North Dundas if transitional housing were available, housing that would give them time and stability to rebuild their lives. So why does this matter? Leaving an abusive relationship is not a short process. It often takes up to 1 year to separate and divide assets, resolve custody arrangements, secure childcare, and obtain stable employment or pursue education. Emergency shelters were originally designed for 4 to 6 week stays at a time when people could access social support and housing within 1 to 2 months. That reality is no longer exists. The housing affordability crisis has created significant backlogs across the housing system, including for domestic violence shelters like Naomi's. We see an opportunity. Across Ontario, the violence against women's shelter sector is responding by developing transitional and supportive housing. housing that bridges the gap between emergency shelter and permanent housing solutions. Our project is unique in its inclusive approach, combining units for survivors of domestic violence with supportive housing for other vulnerable populations, creating a supportive and integrated housing solution for North Dundas. Not everyone needs long-term social housing, but most people need time to stabilize, plan their own lives, and with forward views. With the support of the Township of North Dundas in 2023, the United Counties of SD&G granted our request and transferred the land and building ownership to Naomi's with the sole purpose to explore transitional housing models. In 2024, we secured a CMHC feasibility seed grant and a Women's Shelter Canada Transitional Housing Grant. These two grants furthered our work to confirm our current site as the best option, complete a Class D feasibility study, submit a site plan application deposit of $40,000, and participate in provincial learning and community of practice initiatives for rural shelters. In 2025, we retained both a project management firm and an architect firm, advancing the project from Class D to Class B readiness. The result to date is a proposed 11,000 square foot purpose-built 3-story building, under 11 meters in height, slab on grade, and wood framed. Half of the main floor would continue to operate our secure emergency shelter for women leaving intimate partner violence, so that is business as usual. The remaining main floor space, along with the second and third floors, will provide 24 self-contained transitional and supportive housing units. These units will accommodate a modest stay of up to 12 months and include studio units as well as 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units. The building is being designed to Rick Hansen Foundation Gold accessibility standards, ensuring inclusivity for residents with mobility needs. So what's next? In November 2025, we submitted an application to the Ontario Trillium Foundation Grow Stream. So we have not heard the results of that grant yet, but we expect to do so in our final quarter of our fiscal year. And by March 31st, 2026, we will submit a Class B 66% construction-ready application to Build Canada Homes. CMHC has ended their grant application process by the end of this week to make room for this new federal government department that is coming in called Build Canada Homes. Our project is currently in the development phase, but it represents a meaningful expansion of housing support, 24 new units for some of our most vulnerable members of our community. So our ask is this, so we can't do this alone. Developing supportive housing reduces housing precarity, lowers emergency services and policing costs, and improves community safety. This is a one-time capital contribution ask that helps unlock significant provincial and federal investment for new housing development without requiring new land acquisition. We are respectfully requesting that the Township of North Dundas consider a one-time contribution in the format of a donation of up to $334,974 towards development fees, permits, capital, and construction-related municipal costs. This amount would be reduced by any funds secured through new grants, including the $40,000 already earmarked from 2024, and any future successful funding applications. And so just finally, to be explicit, we are not requesting operational funding costs for this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation and for the information provided. It is somewhat under the radar, Naomi's House. There's been a lot of years of lack of information coming forward and understanding of what Naomi House provides to our community and to those that are outside of our community. And there's been great changes, and I've been fortunate in my time in the fire service to be somewhat engaged, but even more fortunate recently being further engaged with understanding the challenges and successes and purpose, if you would. So, comments. I see Councillor Lennox.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, thank you for coming. Next up is, I support Naomi's House. With Councillor Urheg bringing up IPV, intimate partner violence, last year, I think this is the next logical step for all of the townships and the counties to let's build these shelters, let's make transitional homes so these people can find success where there's success. As far as the fees and et cetera, maybe staff can help me out. Most of it's just administration fees, nominal charges, or is there actual work involved? Just looking for clarity, please.
But please go ahead, Mr. Paul.
Yeah, I mean, the bulk of the fees are related to water sewer charges, which pay for water sewer capital charges. The development charges that were shown there at 143,000, the province of Ontario recently changed the legislation that exempts them now from development charges. So we technically still have to provide those services under the development charges, the capital fees, but we will not get the revenue from that. There's no charge for development charges anymore. That was done in the last 9 or 12 months. The government changed the legislation. So those capital charges, and same with the water sewer, we as taxpayers have to come up with that because they are exempt now under the legislation. But the water sewer charges, yes, is still related to us providing those services. The building permit fees, that's related to doing the review of the plans and all the rest of that goes in the inspections. There's actual labor involved in those.
Okay. And as far as water goes, it would just be more or less making sure we have the units and et cetera. I'm just trying to understand what's involved here in gifting.
Yeah, so through you, Mayor, if I may, the water charges are actually the set fee that everyone pays, and the whole point of those capital charges is to repay the debt back on those assets. So we'll talk about that further tonight, but the whole idea of that is it's an in and out almost where you're paying back the debt on the asset that you've invested in. So that's why there's a fee. It's not administrative, it's capital related payback.
Okay, perfect. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Lennox. Further questions, comments, Deputy Mayor?
When I see the data here, Renee, 928 women turned away in 1 year and 200 and something children. That's an unbelievable amount. People just don't realize how serious the problem is. And we do need the transitional houses. I mean, there's no doubt. But at the same time, our budget is really stressed. And so we just found out that the development charges aren't happening, so you're already off the hook for 100 and something. Water and sewer, we have a huge debt for water and sewer, huge. I'm thinking, I mean, you're not just servicing North Dundas. I know you're getting people from Grenville and from the county, so I wonder if you're also going to approach maybe North Grenville for some funding, or even at the county level. The mayor may not like the idea of asking the counties, but we have a lot of people asking for money these years because everybody is suffering, everybody, with the cost of living increases. So we're between a rock and a hard plate right now. But I really appreciate what you're doing, and I love the plan.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Further thoughts? Okay, Councillor Urick.
So I just collect them a minute there. So it
Certainly.
makes sense. No, I do. I really am in favor and do support the plan as a whole. But unfortunately, it does fall down to the financial ask, and that is a tricky one for us right now. I do think, much like the presentation before you, perhaps there's others investigation to be done in other ways we can find a way to support this in some form. And I think it's more of, if I may, Mr. Mayor, to take this away right now and discuss it further versus a decision on the spot this evening kind of thing. Because I know, as we're all aware, we just went through the budget process and we're quite challenged there. So I think there's more discussion to be had.
Well, thank you. To your point, Councillor, yeah, we don't have a resolution in front of us. We're not going to make a decision on it. We need to understand the challenges, and we need to collectively think how we feel about the topic and how we are going to react to the request and which way, if we're looking at going down that path, how we're going to manage it. So, but we need to have the presentation so it's out there, and that's exactly what the presentation is about, to bring it to our attention, just like the ones before, so we can mull it over and make a determination. So, Councillor Annable.
Just to reiterate what the others have said, it's something I agree with in principle for sure, and it certainly has a need, but we're going to have to give it some more thought and see what we can come up with.
Say all that, Ms. Moores, go
Can
right
I add a
ahead.
clarifying comment? So for our emergency shelter, we are funded by the province of Ontario, so we are required to serve all residents of Ontario, regardless of the jurisdiction. For the supportive housing, transitional housing build, so for the additional 24 units, we are asking specifically that we serve our community first. So this would be servicing people from North Dundas in particular. Just to offer that clarification.
Yeah, and if I thank you for that, and if I may, from if you're okay with the idea, and you don't have a chance to say no, through conversations we've had in the past, and the idea of making sure that they're local,
Yes.
local people in need, and local people being serviced or looked after. It also supports them by not being removed from their environment and exposed to an environment where they're uncomfortable. Maybe it's to a large urban center, or someone that does not like that idea. So, so the focus, to your point, Ms. Moores, is ensuring that local people with a local understanding of rural life are accommodated and not subjected to having to find comfort in an urban setting that they may not be comfortable in. So, if there's anything further, maybe Ms. Monroe wants to add something. Not at this time. Thank you. Okay, but saying that, if there's nothing else from council, I want to thank you for your presentation. It's been, I think, a long time coming that we'd have a chance to have an understanding of the future of Naomi House.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move into staff reports and the corporate services / clerk, Director Johnson, and a KIR on Brown Cemetery.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Brown Cemetery is something that we have been working on for the past 3 years or so. It was in really, really bad shape when we started. It's almost completely finished now. It required a total of 31 monuments to be fixed. Most of the large ones were done last year. Some of the smaller ones were all done this year. A new base was poured. Some of them had little metal barriers that had to go on the side to hold them upright. A couple of the larger ones also had to be redone this year because some trees were starting to grow underneath them again, so they were taken down and new concrete bases were done. The pathway was finished a couple of years ago. It is being mowed by our recreation department, and they noticed that there was quite a bit of damage happening in the summer from cars getting in there. So they arranged with one of our local contractors to bring in a bunch of boulders that are in the pictures there, as you can see, that stops cars from driving all the way through. They're spaced right there, if you want to go back just a bit. They're spaced far enough apart that our lawn care can still get in there, but that stops cars from actually being able to drive. So next year, so all the monuments and everything are done now. We've had quite a few people actually come and visit us and send nice little comments about how happy they are with what they're seeing. What is still left to be done next year is nominal. We need to put a sign up because there is no sign saying it's Brown Cemetery. We will have to do just a little bit more topsoil to fill in some of the ruts, mostly because this particular cemetery is accessed by Wellings of Winchester, so a lot of the residents there use it for walking and whatnot, so we want to make sure it's as level as we possibly can. And then we're also going to add a sign on there that has the pathway restricting cars for only vehicles like municipal vehicles or vehicles that are allowed, so that people don't drive in and hit those boulders. It's not a wide enough turnaround area at the end. So those are the things we're looking for Brown Cemetery next year.
Thank you. Questions, comments, thoughts? I think of the the entrance from Christie Lane to our to the Hunter Club Park and the bollard that's there, and there's a rock there as well too. But there's a bollard there that can go up and down. That's pinned in place in essence, and it's disheartening to know that to understand that people are in there driving about. But I do look forward to ensuring that that does not go on. That's fairly. Hopefully, they're just doing it through not understanding where they are, but I look forward to that being rectified. And so it's only township vehicles, and but yet being accessible to those with walkers and such, those devices. Thank you for the update, and I know it's been a long process to get to where it's at. It's been a challenge and a financial challenge that we need to take on. If there's nothing else, thank you. We'll move on to Development Services, Director Paul, and referring to Sarapor Thai Inc. CIP, and it's moved by Deputy Mayor Bergeron, seconded by Councillor Annabelle. Be resolved that Council approve a facade improvement grant of $5,000 for Sarapor Thai Inc. under the Township of North Dundas's Community Improvement Plan for the building located at 10619 Main Street, South Mountain. The Council authorized the Mayor and Director of Development Services to execute the required agreement. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser, members of council. So we have a request under our community improvement plan that we have in place for a facade improvement. This is the old Scotiabank building that's been purchased. We rezoned it not that long ago for a vet clinic, and now there's a request to improve the facade with regard to our community improvement plan, with works taking place on the property. And this grant application is for the maximum of $5,000 grant for the facade improvements.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. We're going to move on to Fire. Chief Raystrick, referring to RFQ number FS 2025-011, Municipal Fire Rescue, and it's moved by Councillor Annabelle, seconded by Councillor Lennox. Be resolved that Council approve the award of request for quote number FS 2025-01 to Metal Fab Limited for one municipal fire rescue / pumper fire truck for the stipulated price of $689,000 excluding HST. Chief Raystrick.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yes, as you know, we've been discussing this for a few months now. This truck is a much-needed purchase for our fire fleet and will be stationed in Moorwood. This truck is coming in under the original budgeted price. We had put in for $735, and it's coming in roughly $701 with HST $689. So a significant savings for this particular unit. A little background: we also currently have two of this brand, of this manufacturer, which have been in service since 1998 and 2007, respectively. And at this time, from records we have, the 2007 is our lowest cost of ownership for a pump. So.
Thank you. Interesting. Questions, comments? Councillor Lennox.
Sure. Chief Raystrick, what's a rescue pump?
Councillor Lennox, you're familiar with the one in Winchester. That would be classed as a rescue pump. So a rescue pump is a truck, carries water, so it can fight a fire, but we can also put a lot of other tools on it, more extrication tools, and it will alleviate the need in the future of having two separate vehicles. Currently, we have, in Station 1, we have a rescue and we have a pump. The pump does not have the storage capacity. This new truck will have a significant improvement in storage capacity. Each one of those trucks currently carry 2 people legally. This truck will carry 5. So we have the ability of combining and eventually shrinking our asset pool and still offering the same service and quite possibly a much more efficient service.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I bet the people at Station 1 are happy. This has been a long time in the works. Happy, Mr. Smith? No, it's honestly, Moorwood's been waiting forever, and we've seen this topic come up time and time again. I'm happy to see it moving forward, and I believe the mayor's last fire call, we heard Pump 1 scream on Moorwood Road as the pump died. Yet our fabulous mechanics have kept that thing limping along. But yeah, it's nice to see Station 1 get some new gear.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions, comments about the truck? And since you are trying to draw information out of the chief, I'm going to continue in that vein. An update on how we're trying to ensure that there's uniformity among our vehicles, so that as firefighters from Station 1, 2, 3, or 4, they're not looking in random compartments for tools, Chief. If you could elaborate, please.
Yeah, for sure, Mr. Mayor. So the policy 59/2013 obviously was enacted in 2013 and it was a review and a revision of a policy written in 2009 for the standardization of the pumps, the fire apparatus in general. And this purchase absolutely satisfies that. It's going to allow, we've actually sat down with members in Station 1 and 3, and where the two most similar trucks are going to be sitting, and we're going to go over, putting certain tools in certain compartments, and we're going to start with that. And then when the next truck arrives, that process will continue with the next station. And it's just really going to simplify that. No matter what truck rolls up on scene, we know what tool is in what compartment, and again, it's the efficiency. When seconds matter, we'll have that.
Thank you. There's nothing else. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried.
Thank you.
We move on to Transportation Director Cheney, bylaw number 2025-80, a request to abandon the Steen Municipal Drain, moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Urick. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-80, being a bylaw to abandon the Steen Municipal Drain, be passed and enacted this 17th day of December 2025. Director Cheney.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser, members of council. So in May of 2025, staff received a notice from a landowner requesting the abandonment of the Steen Municipal Drain from Station 0+00 to Station 30+20, part of Lot 13, Concession 11 in the Township of North Dundas. As per the Municipal Drainage Act under Section 84, subsection 1, staff sent a notice to all owners of the land assessed for drainage work stating the intention of the abandonment. No owner sent notice to the clerk within the 10-day period, and therefore, as per Section 84, subsection 5, council may, by bylaw, abandon the drainage work, and at any time thereafter, and the municipality shall have no further obligation with respect to the drainage works. Staff is recommending that council proceed with the abandonment.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. We move on to bylaw number 2025-81, a request to abandon the Coons branch of the Bilo Municipal Drain. And that's moved by Councillor Urick and seconded by Deputy Mayor Bergeron. Be resolved that bylaw number 2025-81, being a bylaw to abandon the Coons branch of the Bilo Municipal Drain, be passed and enacted the 17th day of December 2025. Director Cheney.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser. Again, similar to the bylaw that was just passed. So in October of this year, staff received a notice from a landowner requesting the abandonment of the Coons branch of the Bilo Municipal Drain at Station 11+54 to Station 21+22 in the east part of Lot 1, Concession 4, Township of North Dundas. As per the Drainage Act under Section 84, subsection 1, staff sent a notice to all landowners assessed for the drainage work stating the intention of the abandonment. No owner sent notice to the clerk within the 10-day period, and therefore, as per Section 84, subsection 5, council may, by bylaw, abandon the drainage works, and at any time thereafter, and the municipalities shall have no further obligation with respect to the drainage. Staff is recommending that council proceed with the abandonment.
Thank you for that. Questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Then we're going to move on to Director Cheney and a KIR referring to repairs to 5 Industrial Avenue. Director Cheney.
Thanks again, Mayor and members of council. So in June of this year, at the direction of our CBO, our Chief Building Officer, the township's building at 5 Industrial in Chesterville was deemed unsafe, and access was thereby restricted. The foundation walls on the south side had crumbled due to weather and age. An engineer from Eastern Engineering was contacted and recommended that the township immediately install vertical shoring to prevent the south side of the building from collapsing. A contractor from the township's reoccurring services list was contacted and arrived quickly to perform the temporary repairs. Subsequently, in late August of this year, staff put out a tender for the remainder of the repairs through bids and tenders. Only one quote was submitted in the amount of $77,500 plus HST, which was significantly over budget. And the contractor could not guarantee the repair timeframe that was set out in the tender. Staff then proceeded to single source the repair under the emergency section of the purchasing policy and completed the repairs to the CBO's satisfaction in the amount of $20,651.03, including HST. Cost of the repair will be offset by savings from other materials and maintenance lines within the overall Transportation Services Department. So if council has any questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Thank you for that presentation. Questions, comments? I do appreciate the effort to find those savings and to single source that, and all of the efforts made to accommodate and ensure the building's safe. So thank you very much for that. I guess we'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to Environmental Services Director Ward, bylaw number 2025-86, Recycling Depot Operations. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bergeron, second by Councillor Annable. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-86, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Circular Materials Ontario for the operation of a recycling depot at 12620 Boyne Road, the Boyne Road landfill, be passed and enacted this 17th day of December 2025. Director Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. So I think this may be a little bit confusing for council, since I think the last time we spoke about recycling, I told you we were no longer in the game. However, CMO, which is Circular Materials Ontario, had contacted the township in August of this year and inquired if we would be interested in having a residential depot located at our landfill. And as staff noticed, we've taken note of what's happened since recycling has transitioned to the province managing that system. We have noticed that a lot of residents aren't receiving the same service level that we had provided earlier. So we are seeing a lot of recycling being brought to the landfill due to size requirements and collection requirements and us no longer operating a depot. So when CMO contacted the township, we did sit down with them and discuss what that option would look like, and ensured that if the township were to offer this service again, that it would be at absolutely no cost to the tax base. So CMO has provided an agreement for council, which is attached to this document, which is a no-cost depot option. So we would provide there would be a bin provided by CMO at our landfill, which residents only could utilize to put in large boxes from Christmas, for example, or large appliance boxes. We've seen a lot of those come in from like fridges, stoves, etc. They could place that in there. Also, they could bring plastic cans, etc. Anything that you usually put in your blue box, you can bring to this depot, and it would be collected by CMO at their cost, no expense to the tax base, and managed appropriately. Also saving us the landfill space that currently we are taking some of that recycling and the garbage. I'm 100% certain that that's contributing to some of the space that's being utilized. So if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that, and I'm glad CMO have seen that this is necessary. I'm just slowing things down because everyone's jumping at the gun to say something. My goodness, it's like it's a hot topic. Yes, it is, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Well, it's only a hot topic because I'm still so frustrated that they're only taking residential recyclables. I mean, the whole purpose of the recycling program is to recycle everything. And yet we're still stuck here with the province saying, no, you don't need to take from restaurants or from stores or industrial, which is just crazy. So yes, it's nice that we have it for the residents in our landfill site, but gee, when will the province turn around and finally open their eyes and say, no, we have to recycle from everywhere?
Thank you for your thoughts. Councillor Urick.
It's almost as if Mr. Smurl should take note of this, that a one-size-fits-all model just doesn't work. Maybe the province will realize that one day. But anyway, that's a whole nother argument. What's the turnaround time in terms of, if, received at Boyne Road for them coming and then removing?
So we...
Where are we going to store, I guess, is my thought.
So through you, Mayor, it is a local contractor that's providing it on behalf of SEMO, so it's not, the township doesn't have to call SEMO out of Toronto and
Okay.
say, hey, there's a bin that's full. It's actually the curbside collection contractor that will be
Yeah.
doing the work.
Okay.
So hypothetically speaking, it should be within a few days because they're already in our area anyways. So that would be my assumption. It's supposed to be weekly, so I would assume if it's full, we would call and they would come and replace.
Yeah. It is astounding the disparity in the level of service though currently to the residents. Like on my own street, I've watched it collected at my driveway and then they miss a driveway. And like it's next door. It doesn't compute, but anyway. So it's just nice to see this becoming an option. But to the deputy mayor's point, it is a bit alarming that it's residential only because we have a number of businesses who are also making the effort to recycle, but I'm suspecting some of that is contributing, again, as you mentioned, Director, to the landfill increase of what's being taken in.
Thank you for your thoughts. Anything else? Baby steps, I say. You know, they understand that the challenges, and I think of this. We purchased something, and it wouldn't fit in the blue. The cardboard box would not fit in the blue box, so I'm outside cutting it up in the garage to make it fit, and which is manageable for me. But not everyone wishes to wield the knife and chop away at cardboard boxes, and I don't recommend everyone do that either. So it's been not a long time coming, but it's been well anticipated that we'll be able to take a refrigerator box or a gift box, if you would, and take it to the landfill and make sure that it goes to the proper place as opposed to being soaked and soggy and sent to the landfill to take up our valuable space there. So baby steps. I look forward to the deputy mayor's concerns being addressed sometime in the future. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. The water sewer budget 2026, moved by Councillor Annable, seconded by Councillor Lennox. Be it resolved that council approve the 2026 water and wastewater budget this 17th day of December 2025. Director Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. So just, would you like me and the treasurer to sit front and center, or would you like us to present from our seats? Front and center? Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Okay, sorry. I think it's on. Okay, perfect. All right, so good evening, council and mayor. With me is our Director Hewitt from Finance, obviously. He's our treasurer, and we're going to go through the 2026 draft water and sewer budget. So as council's aware, water and sewer is separate from taxation, so we like to do a separate presentation to give you an idea of what that budget looks like. I just want to take a moment to thank the staff in the water and sewer department as well as the operations team from Aqua. There was quite a few projects that we undertook this year successfully, and it was all because of them. So kudos to them, and as well as the finance department for always providing service in terms of utility billing, because it's always nice to have a revenue source coming in consistently. So just to go to the overview slide here. So council's already set the rates. We brought this to council a couple of meetings ago. So as you're aware, it's $1.51 per cubic meter for water in 2026 and $2.75 per cubic meter for sewer. These are, the increases are directly related to just operating expenses and capital requirements, as well as council's decision to shift part of that capital expense for connection charges to the rate base. So there's a 6% increase to that. And that's included in that $1.51. So that's where there's a 7.4% increase in water and a 7.1% increase in sewer. So to that point, what will the new bills look like? So in front of council is the 2025, what a 2025 water and sewer budget would look like to an individual using about 14 cubic meters a month, which is pretty common, versus a 2026. So overall, it's an $8.65 increase per month and $103.80 per year. obviously that number would change if you were an industrial or a commercial user, because your water meter charges are different. So just keep that in mind. When we do our rate setting and we do our budget, we also like to look at what our monthly utility bill comparison would be. So we take obviously a scope of other utilities such as hydro, gas, cable, et cetera, and we just like to compare to ensure that we're not out of kind of compliance with what everyone else is charging. Obviously, everyone has different levels of infrastructure, but again, this is a utility that we provide to the average resident, so we want to make sure that it's financially affordable. So looking at this, you can see that North Dundas water right now in an average household is lower than what most people would pay for their general other utilities a month. So moving into the budget itself, so we'll talk about water first. So for council's information, water is both Chesterville and Winchester together. So when we talk about the water budget, it is both services in one. So in 2026, this is kind of how the revenues look. So 43% of the revenues is new connections. So something I'm going to caution council about, and there's a little star, is that revenues in the water and sewer budget are heavily dependent on growth. So as we see growth happen, we get good revenue. When we don't see growth happen, we could potentially run a deficit. So something to keep an eye on and something staff are aware of and are working towards managing. 26% of revenues coming in next year is grants. So North Dundas is a recipient of federal and provincial funding for the well, which council's well aware of. So that's that money coming in there. 27% is consumption fees, and then 3% is coming from reserves to fund capital commitments, specifically the meter program. So we have about 55 meters left that we have to replace, and those are our larger meters. So we've completed the residential program and are moving on towards like the larger commercial meters. So your 1 inch, your 2 inch, and your 3 inch services. So those will all be moving to RF. So for every dollar coming in, how is it being spent? So 48% is being transferred to reserves, and while that may seem like a large amount, the intentional purpose of this is to fund future assets. So council's aware we have a lot of assets that are coming to end of life, as well as we're looking to expand the amount of water we can provide in the future. So this percentage is required to fund those future asset obligations. 22% is being utilized to fund major capital upgrades. So that remainder is just for the Wellfield 8 project. So we'll just finalize that in 2026. 11% is obviously paying for our lovely Aqua contract that we utilize. So that is for them to continue operating in North Dundas. And then 9% is the funding for outstanding debt, which council will recall is for Wellfield 8 as well as the Chesterville Reservoir project, which was completed in 2024. So this is just an overview of 2026 versus 2025. So as you can see, the primary focus of the 2026 year is really focused on infrastructure planning. 2023, 2024, and 2025 were very heavily focused on increasing capital assets. So we were growing a lot. We were trying to build a lot. So now we're going to take a step back, assess what we have and what we need, and this servicing study that we're focusing on in 2026 will provide that roadmap to council to see where you need to make your next investment and how you'll fund that next investment. If you look at the expenses side, obviously you'll see the expenses shift from major capital investments, as I just spoke about, to paying down debt and building up those reserves, again, to coincide with your servicing study to make sure that you have those reserves built up for their next steps. This slide just takes a look at what you have in the bank. So this is your savings account, so your water reserves. So if you note the top two, there's the Winchester Water Capital Levy and the Chesterville Water Capital Levy. Both are healthy in terms of what we expect them to be. So the intention of this is any capital charge that we receive generally funds this account. So this is for all future capital upgrades. And then underneath you'll see there's a general water reserve, which again is also healthy, but that is to fund any operational issues or capital asset management replacement that already exist in the system. In 2023, I just wanted to highlight that council did decide when we did the rate review at that time, you wanted to have a balance of at least $1 million in the general reserve. So this maintains that as is in this budget. you want me to pause there for water, or do you want me to continue with wastewater now?
I don't think there's any questions, comments at this point, Director Ward. Just keep on going.
Okay.
Thank you.
So in the wastewater budget, we'll continue on the same fashion. So we'll look at the revenue sources. So the money in wastewater is coming from, again, heavily dependent on growth. Those 34% of the revenue is coming from new connections. And 29% is coming from another grant that North Dundas was successful in receiving from the federal government, which is FCM. So they are funding a portion of the lagoon project. 30% is consumption fees. 1% is coming from reserves, and that's coming into the Chesterville Reserve specifically. It's coming out of the Chesterville Reserve to fund the servicing study for the Chesterville portion. Chesterville is a much smaller system, so it needs a little bit of assistance from reserve from time to time, especially if it's a capital study that we're doing. And then 5% is, again, coming from long-term debt to fund the remainder of the lagoon project that we're completing. So expenses, so for every dollar of revenue we're spending, 41% is being utilized towards capital projects. And that number is so high because the remainder of the lagoon project will be completed in 2026. So that's what that bulk is. It's the reason why all of the capital works are completed. It's the ability of that system to perform now. So we're holding money back to ensure that it actually meets the requirements of the contract. And once it successfully does that, hopefully in February of this year, then we'll release those funds. So that's why there's still a big chunk of money in capital for that. 28%, council will notice this is a big number for this year, is being utilized to fund debt. So this is new to council, so the lagoon and the Main Street pumping station are both now being funded through the debt servicing. 11% is being transferred to reserves, so less than previous. So you'll notice that we're paying more on debt but less into reserves, but that was expected based on kind of what we decided to do with the capital works. And then 10% is funding the operation of the system, so that's just operating contracts. So in 2026 versus 2025, again, we're taking a step back from major capital projects and we're looking at future. So what does our system need and how does that look in terms of financial requirements and how would council like to proceed with growth? So those are all things that will come to council in 2026 to help us, you're a major stakeholder in that obviously. So again, to the water portion as well as the sewer portion, will determine those servicing requirements in 2026 so that you have a roadmap moving forward. And then we already talked about the transfer to reserves being less. However, your debt payment is more, so that's where that is. But we are still contributing a small amount to reserves, so to maintain that asset replacement requirement. And then the final slide here is wastewater reserves. So again, looking at going back to the same idea, these are all your savings accounts. So you'll see again, there's a sewer capital levy and for both Chesterville and Winchester, and that again is for new capital. And then the ones below, so the sewer Winchester and sewer Chesterville are kind of your asset management replacement categories. So those are for when an existing asset needs to be replaced, the intention is for that money to fund that. And again, in 2023, just similar to water, we're keeping that $1 million balance in the wastewater, a little bit more actually. So we're maintaining that same direction that we got in 2023. So that's the very quick synopsis of the water budget. There was a few attachments in that package. If council has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you for that presentation, Director Ward. Questions, comments? Councillor Urick.
No direct question, just more of a comment. I appreciate just kind of the broad overview and the fact that, you know, we are clearly targeting major critical infrastructure that does need updated. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario, really, frankly, and it's unfortunate what the amount of expenditure is, but it is, you know, forecasting out over the long term and, you know, planning for future growth. So I do appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Further questions, comments? Seeing none, I will just weigh in. I too appreciate the information provided, and it's always an eye opener for me to see how involved, how much goes on behind the scenes with water sewer, and how important as all departments are, but the water sewer, as the former mayor used to say, it's underground. No one pays attention to it until it's a challenge, and and it does highlight seeing the numbers, seeing the challenges, how much of a challenge managing that hidden infrastructure is, and I appreciate all the efforts at that. I do believe I read the question. All those in favor? Opposed? See none, that's carried. Thank you very much. And we're going to move on to 55C, the KIR on the water shortage update and next steps. Ms. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll just stay here if that's all right. I think Mr. Schmerl kind of took the wind out of my sails here, but as council is aware, we're still in a level 3 low water level advisory. So that means that the flows are less than 30% of the normal summer low flow. So we're seeing that continue into the winter as well. And I did provide a little chart for council for your consideration that shows the static levels within all of the wells that we have and the percentage decrease that we've seen compared to the last 5 years. So you'll see that there are a few wells that are suffering more than others, but generally speaking, all of the wells are significant decrease than what they normally would be. One of the plus sides of this discussion is that with the investment at Wellfield 8, we are going to be bringing on another source of water during a low water area time. So basically, we're going to be bringing that online, which will provide us 20 liters per second. And the good news is it's 4 meters above the pump intake. So there is water in that source right now. So the idea is to bring that on, and then also hopefully Spring Freshet will then also recharge those wells, and we'll have water flow again into the system. However, with that information, there has been some back and forth, and I think council was involved in some of the communication from some business owners who are looking to come and bring their businesses back online. So one of the businesses in particular are car washes. So car washes have not been allowed to operate since August of this year, primarily because they're considered a non-essential use of water. However, we have spoken to many of the stakeholders who own car washes and have gotten a better understanding of how car washes function and how they can be incorporated into our new water conservation bylaw. And in order to allow them to continue their business and not lose any further funds, it's staff's recommendation that we allow them to come back on. They only use 28 cubic meters per day, so it's relatively small compared to the amount of water that we do use. And with Wellfield 8 coming online, staff feel that a little bit more comfortable with allowing that to begin again. However, we do think that it's important that the other businesses that have cut back continue to conserve as well, because they are still able to operate. Although it may be costing them more in some ways, they are still able to operate and produce income from themselves, whereas these car washes have been without income since August. So we do think that it's important that we bring them back online and let them continue their business. And we can continue to visit this throughout the year as things change. However, we're hoping that it'll be more positive in 2025, hopefully with Wellfield 8 coming online and then also the Spring Freshet. So if council wants to provide any feedback on this, I'd be happy to receive it.
Yeah, I think council does want to provide some feedback, and I appreciate the information. The 28 liters, 28 cubes,
Cubic meters per day.
28 cubic meters that consumed by the. Is that all of the car washes?
That's all of the car washes. Yeah.
By all of the car washes, and how the car washes. I don't want to say anyone has suffered long enough because that doesn't sound fair. But the good news that's being presented to us offers us an opportunity to consider that, and I look forward to those thoughts being expressed in the deputy mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I I really feel bad for the car washes because they have, not been able to operate since August. And I'm okay with them coming on, but at the same time, we have to keep track of the levels in the wells. And if they're coming down, then we may have to change our mind, but hopefully not. I know, okay, do you have a date for well number 8 coming online? Do you have a date?
Yeah, so through you, Mayor, Wellfield 8 will be in function at the end of February.
End of February.
It will be distributing water to the system, and everyone will be able to drink it at the end of February.
Okay. And I know you're saying it's 4 meters above, but I'm still thinking well number 8 is in the same esker as well number 7, A and B. And even though it's 4 meters above right now, once we start drawing from it, because we haven't been drawing from it, we don't know how quickly that level will go down, simply because it's in the same esker as 7, A and B. And so we still have to be super cautious until we have the spring melt and the rains.
Thank you for your thoughts. Other thoughts? Anyone else want to weigh in? Councillor Hannibal?
Well, I think car washes have suffered long enough. It's the new well coming online as soon as it's coming. I think it's time that we get back to having a clean car.
Thank you for your thoughts. Councillor Uhrig, then Councillor Lennox.
Me, for sure? Okay.
I've never called him Councillor Uhrig.
Shocking, I know, but anyway, no, I digress completely. No, I'm fine with this. I think it's, it's time to do so. I just do think that, I don't know, I think as supporting business is a good idea, absolutely. To say suffered enough, I think, is a bit of a misnomer. We've all suffered through this water shortage, and I think it, it's put a lot of pressure not only on our system, but it's put a lot of emphasis and focus on, the fact that this is perhaps a new reality with which we may face. So it's great to see, well 8 is going to come online. It's going to provide more, but to the Deputy Mayor's point, I do think, vigilance is still in order, and, nothing has returned to whatever normal was before the drought situation and whatever normal may become now as we move forward. So, thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. And Councillor Lennox.
Are car washes the only business where operations have completely ceased? All right, so under level 3, are we allowed to wash our cars at home?
So through you, Mayor, it's considered a non-essential use, so you're not supposed to be doing that.
So is this estimated 28 meters cubed a day potentially going to be higher than the estimate since we're not allowed washing cars at home?
So through you, Mayor, the 28 cubic meters a day is for the 3 car washes to come back online. So you would be exempting them from kind of the non-essential use. However, if someone were to wash their car at home, it would still not be in compliance with the existing bylaw. So they're not supposed to be doing that. So we could limit that.
Okay. Just wanted some clarity on this. The big thing is, I don't want to see a small business suffer, but at the same time, I want to see the bed sheets at the manor be washed, the hospital be washed, etc. Hygiene is why we have a high life expectancy, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really care if people are angry over mud stains on their brand new Buick. So if, going Deputy Mayor's point, Councillor Uhrig and Gary's, if you can hold them accountable and continue working with them and develop this future bylaws so we can say, hey, hold it, levels are going down, I think that would be the most responsible approach.
So I'm going to weigh in. I look forward to the operation starting. I'm not sure how quickly we can do this. I do understand that there's going to be a bylaw, and it takes a while for a bylaw to be designed. I know you've expressed, and it's been expressed about vigilance, thank you, and all of those things. But with the light at the end of the tunnel and the smallish consumption of 28 cubic meters, I'm not sure, I looked at the director, what would the timeline be to ensure that this did we establish a bylaw regulating that we have to rescind, or do we have to incorporate, or is this just a policy that you have?
Yeah, so through you, Mayor, or to you, Mayor. So there is, right now, the bylaw that council saw before that limited car washes in the future hasn't been passed yet. So you don't need to rescind that. What we would be doing is essentially exempting them from non-essential use. So it's just more of a policy item, so you wouldn't need to rescind a bylaw. The new bylaw, when it comes back, will incorporate the stuff out of the policy and make it more formal to say that in a level 3 low water advisory, these are the steps that car washes would take. And that bylaw will come back to council in January. We did have a legal review, and we're just working to get the fines through the Attorney General's office. So it's not my forte there. So that will come back to council in January, and then you can review those terms. If you choose to change them or want to keep them the same, that would be up to council. But you don't need to rescind a bylaw right now to allow them to operate.
Right, so what would the timeline for that to happen, to resume operation?
If council is okay with this, then it could be tonight, tomorrow, as soon as a car wash could reopen.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we're all understanding of that, so I'll do a quick straw poll.
Yep.
As soon as possible.
Yes.
Okay, there's your direction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And we'll move on to, if there's nothing else, to Finance. Director Hewitt. 56A, bylaw number 2025-85, adoption of 2026 municipal budget revenues and expenses. And that's moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Uhrig. Director Hewitt.
Thank you, Mayor Fraser. And thank you to Council for the special meetings and deliberation that we had earlier this month regarding the 2026 municipal budget. This is to formalize, as we normally do, to bring back a bylaw to adopt the municipal budgeted revenues and expenses. And earlier this evening, we heard from Director Ward where a resolution was passed to adopt the water wastewater budget there as well. So this bylaw will be to formalize the work that we did earlier at the special meetings.
Thank you. And just to be sure, be it resolved that bylaw number 2025-85 being a bylaw to adopt the 2026 municipal budget revenue and expenditures be passed and enacted the 17th day of December 2025. That was moved by Councillor Lennox, seconded by Councillor Uhrig. Questions, comments, thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, seeing none, that's carried. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. That's moved by Councillor Uhrig, seconded by Deputy Mayor Bergeron. That all items listed under the consent agenda be approved/filed as recommended. Questions, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. We're going to go to notices of motions, and this is a motion support for SDG Counties Resolution Reconservation Authorities, and I turn to Deputy Mayor Bergeron. Would you like to expand on that?
I don't really need to expand. I mean, Bill Smurl already explained all. The consequences of if the conservation authorities were changed from 36 to 5. And yes, I'm really worried about what will happen. Our fees will go up. We won't have the same service. We already know what happened with the recycling when the province took over. I hate to see what come with conservation. So that's why I would like to pass this.
Okay, so I have a mover, and the mover, Deputy Mayor Bergeron. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Uhrig. Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of North Dundas supports resolution number 2025-159 from the United Counties of Stormont, Dundas, Glengarry, passed on November 17, 2025, calling on the Government of Ontario to maintain local, independent, municipally governed, watershed-based conservation authorities, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Ontario Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks, to the local MP and MPPs, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, and all municipalities and conservation authorities in Ontario. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you very much, and thank you, Deputy Mayor. We're going to move into boards and committees, County Council. Deputy Mayor.
Okay. County Council, we had our first meeting with the new warden, which was Francois Landry. And also, the counties will be paying to the township for the Alvin Runnels fire $58,808.12 to cover the cost of the firemen and for the rental of the excavator.
Thank you, and I'm just going to piggyback to that, Deputy Mayor. Counties Council also are going to distribute funds to all of the municipalities and all the fire services in SDG that contributed. So that's been ironed out. Is there much else? No.
No.
What is? Yes, Councillor Urick.
Is there an update on the plan for the Cass Bridge work on 31?
An update as to how it's going to.
How it's going to be done and when?
I don't have the date on top of my mind. Maybe Director Cheney does, but it is going to be a bridge under repair, one lane open.
In the spring.
One lane open?
Yeah, one lane open.
Yeah, it'll be managed with stoplights on either side.
Yep.
So the traffic will continue, and when we think about, and the argument was posed, the 5,000 plus vehicles that travel that, and anyone that travels 31 in the morning, seeing the traffic coming from the south, or it would not be pleasant. Some people wouldn't start till noon. So that's I'm not sure if that's the update you're looking forward to.
No, that's perfect. There was some chatter in the community, and the one kind of reporting I did see on it didn't really give much insight or information. So just clarity for the public.
Yeah. That's it. So Parade of Lights, it was a fantastic Parade of Lights. The fireworks were excellent. I think they were appreciated by anyone that had a chance to see the fireworks, to see the parade. And I look to the chief. I think this is going to be ongoing, the fireworks, or Madam CAO. Someone has investigated that. Continuing the fireworks show.
Mr. Mayor, yes, I believe it's going to be that continued. Stephen is looking after that. That's one of his projects, and I commend him for having that done.
Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yes, Director, not Director, Mr. Mann, our Economic Development Officer, Stephen Mann, and his efforts to ensure that took place, and the effort afterwards to communicate the success and potential for continuing. So credit goes to him. But it was something truly enjoyed by many. Garden Party Market, I had an opportunity to attend that, as I think 2,000 or 3,000 other people had an opportunity to attend the Garden Party Market held on November 22nd. My kudos from all of North Dundas, Township of North Dundas, I'm sure, would be expressed to Kelly Windle and her group that ensure that a group of volunteers that ensure that the Garden Party Market continues in a fashion, but the Christmas market certainly was a wonderful event. Art in the Waterfront, Councillor Hannibal.
Their meeting was one of the budget nights, so I've only got snippets so far from Kerry, but they're doing their normal thing with people repeating what they did before, and they've got a few new members that are learning the ropes.
Thank you. The Historical Society?
Again, there's nothing specific going on with them at the moment.
Thank you. The Chesterfield Carnival, nothing. Green Action Gang, Councillor Lennox, nothing. Dairy Fest, Deputy Mayor.
The first meeting will be on January 18th. Oh, sorry, at the meeting will be upstairs at the Joel Steele Center.
And my understanding that to that, Deputy Mayor, is that there's been renewed enthusiasm for from many people seeking information about being a volunteer at supporting the Dairy Fest celebration, and so the venue did have to change to accommodate the expected increase in number of people. So, as I was speaking earlier to members from the Mountain Township Ag Society, the need to encourage volunteerism if we want to keep the events that we celebrate and enjoy in the Township of North Dundas. Fresh volunteers need to come in, as those volunteers that have contributed years of service tend to need to retire. Downtown Winchester, anything from Councillor Annabelle or Urig?
No, no.
Morwood Recreation Association, Councillor Lennox.
Yeah, I got a few things. So the parade went well. They did a walkthrough afterwards, picking up the garbage and some candy canes and etc. They also participated in the Parade of Lights, and they just want to make a note that whoever pulled in front of them halfway through the parade and threw candy canes, the Morwood RA was not associated with those two. Finally, they want to give a big shout out to Mr. Mayor, and I'm paraphrasing. We are so happy Tony makes time to attend all of our events. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. They are a fantastic group, and yeah, the parade was great. The enthusiasm, the number of floats, the people that have a chance to see a parade roll through the town, right by Veterans View Park, that is all lit up, and it was quite a bright, Christmassy winter season night, and I appreciate the efforts of Brent Richard and all of the volunteers to support the promotion of community spirit in the village of Morwood. Council comments. We have some unfinished business. Resolution 2025-236 was moved and seconded at the December 9th meeting, but no vote was taken, as bylaw number 2025-85 to adopt the 2026 municipal budget was approved this evening. We no longer require the resolution. That would be item 56A. So, Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I request permission to withdraw my motion.
Thank you. Does anyone object to that withdrawal of the motion? Seeing none, we will get ready to move in. We'll get ready to move in camera. So we're going to move into camera, and it's moved by. 1 second, please. Councillor Annabelle, seconded by Councillor Lennox. The council proceed to close session at 6:14 p.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, Section 2392, subsections C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality, B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, and D, labor relations or employee negotiations. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to move back into open session. It's moved by Councillor Urick, seconded by Councillor Annabelle. Be it resolved that council return to open session at 7:50 p.m. All those in favor? Opposed, seeing none, that's carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bergeron, seconded by Councillor Annabelle. Be it resolved that staff proceed as directed in closed session. All those in favor? Opposed, seeing none, that's carried. Moved by Councillor Annabelle, seconded by Councillor Urick, that council adjourn at 7:51 p.m. 7:51 p.m. to the call of the chair. All those in favor? Opposed, seeing none, that's carried. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience and spending time with us this evening. To everyone that's still with us or paying attention at some point, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I wish everyone the best in the new year, and until next time, take care. Good night.